Did you see that? 700,000 damage on the last hit by Geomancer. Hi guys, I'm Mike and welcome back for another Raid Shadow Legends video. A very important goal for anyone playing the game is getting the top chests for Ultra Nightmare and Nightmare Clan Boss every single day. The rewards that you get for this are insane. You can't really gather these resources easily outside of Clan Boss, so it's very important that you do so. Because the rewards, they range from Void and Ancient Shards to Epic and Legendary books. So this is very important that you get this going as soon as you can. But getting to the damage levels needed to get those chests daily is actually quite challenging. But luckily we have a champion like Geomancer, and today I'm going to show you how you can get to these levels of damage using Geomancer in an easy double man-eater comp that you can find on deadwoodjedi.com. A little while ago, Plarium organized a guaranteed event to get Geomancer. You just needed to open 40 ancient shards to get this awesome champion. But I noticed that a lot of people seem to be struggling a little bit with him to get the most damage out of him when using him for clan boss. And that can be contributed to a lot of things, because he actually needs quite a lot of things to get the most out of him. First, of course, you're going to need to gear him up well enough so that he will function the way he's supposed to, but also you are going to need to book him and you are going to need to give him the right masteries, because if you don't, he will not be doing the amounts of damage that you are seeing online. So I'm going to show you everything you need to know, and after that we are going to do a couple of runs and I will show you how to set him up so you will get the most damage out of him. Because actually one of the biggest changes for me was that I was able to sync his A3 with the AoE attacks of the clan boss. And when you do not do this, then you are going to miss out on a lot of damage. So I'm going to show you how to do that in a little bit. The biggest priority that you have when building an unkillable team like the easy double man-eater comp from deadwoodjedi.com is that you use the correct speeds. If you don't, then your team will not be unkillable for the entire run. So we're going to take a look at the speeds first. First we have Geomancer, and that's the slow champion of the composition. He has a speed of 167, and as you can see he has high accuracy, so he will always land his debuffs. And I'm still a little bit low on crit rate and crit damage, which could improve the damage even more, so that's great. So then we go look at the fast man-eater. Our fast man-eater has a speed of 220, has quite a high crit rate already, high critical damage as well, and I have kept his accuracy low on purpose, because I do not want him to land his decrease attack. This will cost me a slot for the debuffs, and this could get in the way of poisons. So the second man-eater we've built in a similar way, only his speed is a little bit lower. He is 214 speed. Also almost 100% crit rate, a little bit of crit damage and low accuracy here. All of these champions, normally in a not unkillable composition, you would need way higher defense and you would need way higher HP as well. But for this composition, you will just need to survive the first couple of turns, so this is more than enough. The fourth part of my team is actually Farrakhan the Fat. And this is a champion that gives a little bit of problems with Geomancer sometimes, but I found that it still works reasonably. Because the problem is that Farrakhan also has an HP burn debuff. And the thing with Geomancer is that he only does the insane amounts of damage when the clan boss attacks the team, while an HP burn that is put up there by Geomancer is active. So if Farrakhan actually overrides the HP burn from Geomancer, then we will not be getting all the damage from the Geomancer. But I found that when I use Farrakhan and I set him up in the way that I'm going to show you, that the HP burn from Geomancer will be up most of the time, so Farrakhan will not get in the way all that often. And the thing is, Farrakhan is actually a really nice clan boss champion because of his ally attack move, which increases crit rate and crit damage on all allies. So I really like to use this guy, but I'm going to show you a different composition with a couple of different champions as well. The fifth champion that we are using in this composition is Occult Brawler. And we do that for his poisons, of course. Occult Brawler is actually the champion that on his own can put out the most poisons in the entire game. So he's well suited for clan boss. And I really like to use this guy because he just puts out a load of damage. And he will surely help us to get to the threshold that we need to be able to 2-key Ultra Nightmare and 1-key Nightmare. That's it for the team. And now we're going to take a closer look at Geomancer. That is, after I've shown you the speeds on them. So here we go. The speed for Farrakhan the Fat is actually 177. We are close to 100% crit rate. And we have a little bit of crit damage as well. And the accuracy is high, so we will land his debuffs. And Occult Brawler is the same story. We have a lot of accuracy. The crit rate is still a little bit low on this one, and the crit damage as well, but the most damage will always come out of his poison, so that's not a problem here. Okay, now to look at Geomancer. Like I said, the most important thing for him is to keep up his HP burn debuff, and he does this with his A3. And like you can see, when you have not booked this ability, then it will have a chance of 75% of placing the HP burn for 3 turns. And this is a little bit problematic, because it needs to land 100% of the time. Luckily, when you book him, it becomes 100%. And also, a very important thing is that you can book it down to a 3-turn cooldown. Because when this starts out, this is a 5-turn cooldown, which means he will not be able to keep up his debuff 100% of the time, which is what we want. So it is crucial for this build, absolutely crucial, that you book him out fully on his A3. The A1 and the A2 are not important here. Just book out his A3, and if you're lucky, you will not need all the books that he can use for all these skills, because you will absolutely need to book this one out. So that's very important. Then, let's take a look at the masteries. Like you can see, we went for the offense tree, and the offense tree is really important here, because you need to get to Giantslayer. Because the thing about his passive that deflects all the damage back on the clan boss is that he can actually proc Giantslayer on every hit that he does with his passive. So this is incredible. You really need to have Giantslayer to get the most out of your champion. So you need to level him up to 60 and then give him the Giantslayer mastery. I went down the defense tree to give him retribution, which is a chance to counterattack with this champion to improve his damage even more. I will be showing Geomancer in action now, setting him up with the easy double man-eater comp from deadwoodjedi.com. And I'm going to show you the team setup as well. It's not a lot that you need to do, but I actually prioritized Quicksand Grasp and Creeping Petrify as a second priority for Geomancer. Occult Brawler, I have deactivated his A2. Farrakhan, I prioritized his beatdown, and both the man-eaters are just as normal. So here we go. Do not start this fight on auto. You will need to use the setup found on deadwoodjedi.com, and I will show you when we will actually use the HP burn to get the most damage out of Geomancer. This composition is not a full auto straight away. What you need to do is you need to set up the team so they will become unkillable. And just first we start off with a couple of normal attacks on both the man-eaters. First the fast and then the slow man-eater. And on turn 1 we will be using the A3 of Farrakhan. I will just use the A1 for Occult Brawler. And we already placed the HP burn down in the first turn that we can go with Geomancer. And we need to activate Ancient Blood now with the fast man-eater. So that's the first turn. So after that we are just going to go on. We do not want to use the A2 here, because this has a chance to overwrite the HP burn set out there by Geomancer. So we're just going to use the A1 and hopefully decrease defense. Didn't happen, no problem. We're going to use the A1 on Occult Brawler and just fire away with the Man-Eater. We are going to use the A2 on Geomancer. And after that, an A1 with the slow Man-Eater. There we go, going into turn 3. Okay, at this time, the HP burn of Geomancer is about to expire. So we can actually use the A2 on Farrakhan at the moment. So we're going to do that. And then just A1 here. A1 again. And also A1 here with the slow Man-Eater. And A1 with the Geomancer. So going into turn 4. This is an important moment again. So fast Man-Eater just goes A1. Farrakhan goes A1. And then we have the slow Man-Eater coming up. So the slow Man-Eater needs to do his A3 to make us unkillable again here. A1 on the Occult Brawler. And now, normally, you could put out the A3 with Geomancer. But it's very important that you do not do so now. Because as you can see, we still have 2 turns to go before the AoE starts again from the clan boss. So we're going to skip 1 turn with the A3 and going to do an A1 here. And this is very important. So here we go. Just doing the normal moves with the rest of the team. We can do allied attack again with Farrakhan now. There we go. And A1 with the Occult Brawler. And now we're going into turn 6. And this is the time where we are going to do the unkillable again on the fast Man-Eater on his second turn. So first we're gonna hit him again. And now we put down the A3 with Geomancer. So we get the HP burn and weaken up for 3 turns again. Now the slow Man-Eater goes again. We can actually use the A2 from Farrakhan now, because we have a 3-turn HP burn up there now. So even if the HP burn that Farrakhan puts out there also becomes 3 turns, it will not override it. So that's fine. So we're going to do the A2 from Farrakhan, A1 with Occult Brawler, and now we will do the unkillable with the fast Man-Eater. And this is the part where you can auto. So, I'm not gonna show you the entire fight. This will take like 15 minutes. So I'm going to speed this up for you guys a little bit, and then you can see how much damage we have done in the end. we're coming up on the end of the battle already, and like you can see it's turn 45 and we have already passed the point that we need to get a 2 key on Ultra Nightmare. And we even got a bit of bad luck earlier, because I noticed that one of the HP burns by Geomancer was resisted by the clan boss, which has a 3% chance. So that was a little bit of bad luck, and even though we had that, we are still going well past 40 million damage, which is great. So, and remember that this isn't even a set of incredible gear that I have on these champions. You notice that Geomancer has very low crit rate, same goes for Occult Brawler, so the damage output could even be a lot higher when you get to push those stats as well. But needless to say, you can see that this team can easily put out the damage that you need to get Ultra Nightmare and Nightmare done in 3 keys every day. So let's just see what the final score will be. Just a couple more attacks to go. And then the clan boss will finish us off. Okay, there we go. Final score, did you see that? 700,000 damage on the last hit by Geomancer. So that was really good. Geomancer did 20 million damage in this run, which is incredible. Occult Brawler did 13 million damage, which is very reasonable. Ferrokin also put out a decent amount, and both Man-Eaters were like around 3 million, so doing very decent. So, and to show you guys that it's not just a composition that works with these specific champions, I have switched out Ferrokin for Bulwark, and I wanted to switch out Occult Brawler for Frozen Banshee, but regrettably I was fighting a Force Affinity clan boss at the moment, which would decrease her damage greatly, so that's not a good option there. But normally you could switch out a Occult Brawler, no problem, for someone like Frozen Banshee or any other great poisoner, and you will get similar amounts of damage, so you do not need a Occult Brawler specifically. But Bulwark, I even put in a Bulwark of level 50, so no full masteries yet. Not a very strong champion at all. The only thing that he brought to this fight is his extension of debuffs. And look at what's happened. We still get to 39.19 million damage, which is more than enough to get to 2 keying Ultra Nightmare. So that's great. Geomancer did 19 million damage, 15 million for Occult Brawler, and both Man-Eaters did a little bit less damage than last time, because Ferrokin, of course, boosts their damage with his ally attack. So even though we did not have a very strong support champion in the 5th position, we still did more than enough. This is a fine working composition, if you ask me, with Geomancer being the absolute MVP. That was Geomancer in action, and how you can actually get the most out of him for clan boss battles. I'm very happy with this champion, because he's the one that enabled me to get Ultra Nightmare done daily in just 2 keys. This was, of course, in the easy double Man-Eater composition from deadwoodjedi.com, but I'm pretty sure that he will work just the same way in different unkillable compositions. It's just that he has a couple of priorities. So, like I said before, you need to have high accuracy for him to land his debuffs. You absolutely need to have his A3 booked, which is absolutely crucial. And for 100% you need Giantslayer masteries. If you do that, and you also make sure that you sync up the HP burn from Geomancer with the AoE attacks of the clan boss, then you will get the same amounts of damage that you have seen on the channel here today. So I wish you all the best of luck. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and maybe subscribe to the channel for more Raid Shadow Legends videos. And I hope to see you guys in the next one. Bye bye!